Well, hello Nazanin, how are you?
I'm well, Josh. How are you doing?
I'm so good, and it's so amazing to talk to you today because I've actually spent the whole day watching so many incredibly powerful interviews you've done, your address that you did to the United Nations Summit. Like, you are the definition of someone who uses their platform to help so many people. And it's such an important time to be using that platform with what is going on in Iran right now. How are you feeling about what's happening right now in Iran?
Oh, gosh, well, thank you for the lovely words, Josh. I feel it's really odd because I feel equally exhilarated by what I'm seeing, meaning inspired, hopeful, empowered by the courage of these women and particularly the young girls who are fighting against oppression and tyranny. But I am outraged and angry and devastated that it's taken this degree of loss of life for the world to pay attention. I've been doing this for 14 years now. I've been a democracy activist, freedom activist, human rights activist for my homeland, Iran. And it's been like pulling teeth having people pay attention. This is the day we didn't want to happen. We didn't want people to get slaughtered on the streets. Young kids, teenagers being killed on the streets. And this is happening now. But if they are brave enough to risk their lives, then we have to stand up with them. We have to rise up and let this be what I think it's turning into, which is the first female-led revolution of our time.
And the bravery of the women who are rising up against this level of oppression is so extraordinary. And especially when you consider that some of them are like the average age of those who are being arrested is 15 years old. Like, to have that level of bravery at 15 is staggering, isn't it?
It's shocking. And, kids as young as 12 are being arrested and taken to psychological centres to be reprogrammed so that they're not antisocial, turning into the quote unquote antisocial personalities in society, which basically means that they're being conditioned or reconditioned to wear a headscarf, the compulsory headscarf, and why that's important, and that their behavior is against the system and that they should stop doing that. This is mind control. It's awful. It's tyrannical. I mean, it's stuff that you read about. It's Handmaid's Tale. It's not. It shouldn't be happening in any country. And yet these girls are still doing it. These schoolgirls. I'm in awe of them. I can't even imagine being that young. And university students. And now it's, become, people talk about the women, but brave young men. A 16-year-old boy just got killed too. This is, men are standing shoulder to shoulder with the women. And I think that's what's really scaring the regime, because they've spent 43 years segregating and oppressing women, separating them from men. Women have to sit at the back of the bus. Women are banned from sports arenas. Women are segregated from men in the workplace, in the classroom, at beaches. They are seen as half the value of a man in a court of law. That's what women are fighting against. But imagine now men standing shoulder to shoulder with these women and saying, no, leave our sisters, our daughters, our mothers alone. That's the power that people have right now, and they are taking over the streets of Iran. It's really, really powerful to see.
Do you think that these women are really pushing through fear now, that fear has been eradicated for them to be going and using their voices and physically, burning headscarves on the streets, dancing in the streets, like literally fighting for their lives? Like, they have so pushed through any boundary of fear, haven't they?
That's a really, really good question, Josh. Actually, a really celebrated actress inside Iran, Katayoun Riahi, did shortly after Mahsa Amini, 22-year-old Mahsa Amini, was killed, which is what sparked all these protests. She gave an interview without her compulsory headscarf. She lives in Iran, and she gave an interview to an outside TV station based in London without her headscarf. And she said, people aren't afraid anymore, because people aren't afraid of prison anymore. because Iran itself has become a prison. And I just thought, that's exactly what's happening. This new generation that has been indoctrinated to believe and conditioned to believe that America's the devil, the UK's the devil, the West is the devil, are pointing their fingers squarely at their own government, because they see right through it. And they realize that it's their oppression, their own government, that's the issue. And they don't have anything left to lose. They're just fighting with everything they have, which is why I think we need to stand by them.
And I think as well, it's key that the international community stands up for the women of Iran right now, use their voices to help raise their voices. What do you think we can do as an international community to be better allies to the women of Iran and the people who are oppressed in Iran?
That's a really, really good question too, Josh. I think the key is solidarity, amplifying the messages of all the activists. There's so many of us who are trying to get the word out, and to follow those accounts on social media. People don't understand the power of a hashtag, but we're well over 150 million hashtags of Mahsa Amini's name. That is an amplification that matters because it makes people pay attention. So there's that aspect of it. There's amplifying the message, there's following, there's educating yourself. And then on top of that, when you're outraged and you see these images, because it's secondhand trauma when you're bombarded with these images day in, day out. But my goodness, I hope it sparks something in us to pick up that phone and take 5 minutes of our day to call our representatives wherever we may be, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, our local representatives, and say, we don't want you to stand with the regime in Iran. We want you to stand with the people, and find a way to do that. Please, we stand, we as Americans, as Brits, as anywhere. If you're in France, if you're in Germany, if you're in any democratic country, please pick up your phones and make a call to your local representative, to your government officials, and say, find a way to create a mechanism to support the investigation of the Iranian regime for their human rights atrocities and hold them accountable on an international united level. We did that with Putin, didn't we, in Ukraine? We all came together and said, no, enough, Putin. You can't do this anymore. Why can't we do the same for the Iranian people? And sign the petitions. Amnesty International has, since 2019, in the last very bloody uprising where they cracked down on the people and killed over 1,500 people, protesters, Amnesty started a campaign for this exact thing of please, let's start an international independent investigative mechanism to hold the Iranian government to account for their human rights atrocities. And that's now a petition. It's a petition that we can sign. And the more people who sign that petition, the more government officials, the UN, everyone will pay attention. So please don't think that these things don't matter. Raise your voices on social media, sign the petitions, call your representatives, and stand with the people.
And give them a voice, because we're hearing so many stories about the internet being shut down, WhatsApp being curtailed, so much surveillance across how people are using their voices on social media as well. What kind of stories are you hearing personally from people inside Iran right now? What are they telling you about what their experience is like right now?
It's harrowing, Josh. It's I get messages, voice notes, and text and email messages. You're right. Internet access has been crushed in Iran. It's, they're really trying. This happens all the time with autocracies and dictatorships. We saw it in Belarus, for example, after uprisings. They shut off the internet so that people can't organize. And also they can't get their messages out to the wider world, and they can't get any information from the outside world either. So it's sort of like another way of imprisoning the people, censoring the people. But luckily, there are ways around it. There are VPNs that, for example, Outline VPN by Google is a great example where people in America can sign up, or the UK or Europe, anywhere you are. You can sign up for $6. I don't know what it is in pounds. Excuse me, because I'm sitting here in New York right now. But it's $6 a month. and for us to sign up, and then we can share that VPN with people inside Iran. They need trusted VPNs to get around the internet censorship. But with the channels that I have right now, I'm getting anywhere between 60 to 200 messages a day from people inside Iran. And what they're saying is, please don't stop. That's essentially the bottom line. Please don't stop amplifying our voices. They're killing us over here. Please rise up with us. Please don't stop paying attention. Please know that our lives are important too, that we're so numb to loss of life in the Middle East. We're so like, well, that's what happens over there. We're so accustomed to it. And we need to stop being so desensitized, because these people are risking their lives. And imagine if Iran achieves democracy. Imagine what that does for the region. Imagine what that does for the world. And if this moment, I think they will be victorious, Josh. I truly believe that. That's what they're telling me. We're going to win this fight. And we're going to go down in history as an example of how to do this. The question is, do we, the international community, want to look back and say we helped them to do that? Or do we want to say they did that all by themselves and we had nothing to do with it? And the truth is, I would sleep better at night knowing that I did all I can from outside Iran to empower those people who are fighting for their rights.
I think what's so interesting about the way that certain people and communities rally for certain other communities internationally, there's always seems to be a slight prejudice around certain communities standing up for other communities as well. Have you found that in your work that you've been doing for so long?
Yeah, unfortunately, our politics, our ideologies, our religion, our whatever it is, inform who we should help, who we shouldn't help. And this has been such a roadblock for me. I have tried to unify left and right, all ethnicities. But I'll tell you this, Josh, in Iran, we have Kurds, Turks, Arabs, various ethnicities. And I've never seen the Iranian people and the Iranian diaspora more united. And that gives me such hope that we can actually translate that into uniting the rest of the world. Nobody in Iran is saying, a lot of Kurds are being slaughtered on the streets. But you don't hear the majority of Kurds saying, this is about the Kurds. They're all united under the Iranian umbrella for freedom. And that, I think, is super powerful. What an example for us to set aside our differences. We need cross-party, bipartisan, whatever you want to call it, support on this. Please, I'm begging people not to let their politics or ideologies determine what they do for the people of Iran. Because human rights are human rights, and this is something we should all agree on. It's black and white. There are no shades of grey. And if we stood up, if you remember, you're probably too young to remember this, but apartheid South Africa and Nelson Mandela and everybody who I just, your viewers are probably very young and don't remember that. Maybe they can just take a look at what happened in apartheid South Africa. And I would just encourage everyone, that, group of artists who stood up back then and created, Artists for a Free South Africa, and the message they got out, it was so powerful to stand with Nelson Mandela and to stand with the people of South Africa who are anti-apartheid. And what we're seeing right now in Iran is gender apartheid. So we've seen what racial apartheid looks like. This is gender apartheid. And so let's end it together, just like we did with apartheid in South Africa.
If you could address the brave women who are standing up and using their voices, in part for the first time ever, some of them probably, what message would you want to give to the women of Iran right now?
I am in awe of you. I stand by you. I will never stop. And I get emotional thinking about it, but I just want them to know we care. We won't stop fighting.